Hi, everybody. It's Dominic Rubino from Cabinetmakerprofitsystem.com. Thank you very much for checking in. This really is part two of a two-part series on how to hire using the right interview tactics, and this is the interview script we're going through right now. If you want to see step one, that's another video and another piece of content. Go back and look at that. But thank you for joining us here. Also, feel free to share or like this or leave a comment so that I can add to it as we go and hear your feedback from the field. Maybe you've got a different experience. Maybe you've got some killer pre-qualification questions that you like to use in the interview. Love to hear it. It's your chance to shine, and we'll be able to add that to the world knowledge database for cabinet makers and architectural millworkers. So this is step two. So now we've already done step one, where our administrator has called the person who's applied, and they've made it through all the gates, if you will, and we're happy to talk to them now. They're not wasting your time. You're an important guy. You're already running a millwork shop that's doing $1, $2, $3, $20 million. You don't have a lot of time to waste. You want to interview the right people the right way and make sure you're only dealing with A players, so you keep leveling up your business. So here we are. We're at the face-to-face interview now. So a couple of suggested interview questions for you based on we're trying to find the right attitude. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you ask questions that you need about their technical skill. If this is a CNC operator, I don't know your machine. I don't know what your edge bander you're using. I don't know how your glue pot works. You know those questions, and you can ask the technical questions to find out if this person can be of value to your team or if they're going to be a time waster. But from an attitude perspective, this is what we're digging into here. So if you're listening in the car while you're driving, hopefully you can hear some ideas that you can add to your interview questions, all right? There is some Word documents go along with this, so don't worry if you miss it or if you can't take notes. Like I say, you could be walking your dog or driving. Just download it from Cabinetmakerprofitsystem.com. You can share it with your business partner, whatever. Okay, so here's the questions we're going to have. So first of all, they're going to come into the office, right? I like to know if they're here on time. For probably the same for you. If I come to your office and I'm on time, if our meeting's at 10 o'clock on Wednesday, 10 a.m. on Wednesday, and I show up at 10 a.m. for a face-to-face meeting, in my mind, I'm already late. On time is late, and early is on time. They should be there 5-10 minutes beforehand, waiting in the waiting room for my meeting. Now, we've got to give them a bit of credit if they're leaving another shop and they have to run out of there to get here. But I do like to see if people pay close attention to time, because time is an important commodity for me. We're in the production business, and I can't have people screwing around with my time or with your time. Just won't stand for it. So keep an eye on that. And as I said, there's obviously some reasons why they could be late. But if there are no reasons, this might be the sign that you don't want to see. All right. So, hey, here's number one. Thanks for coming in. Why are you looking for a new position? Look at your notes from step one, the notes your administrator took, and listen for their answer. See if they jive up, see if the same answer is coming through. Now, the next thing I'd like you to do is ask, how would you describe where you work now? And listen carefully for their answer. I want to hear somebody who speaks respectfully about the place they're leaving, even if they speak vaguely. I don't want them slamming the other business owner or the other guys on the team. I want somebody who takes personal responsibility for their actions and what they're building. I actually want a guy who takes pride in what he does, because that means he's going to take pride in what we're doing. Even if we're just doing casework and we're knocking out boxes, I want somebody who wants to make sure they're done right and done fast enough, not taking forever to do one set of kitchen cabinets. What's their attitude? If they're talking smack about their current job, how are they going to talk about you? And then number three, ask them a couple of technical questions, like I said. But now you've got a choice here. When you go to Cabinet Maker Profit System, you can download the Word document. I'm actually looking at it on my screen, so you'll see me scrolling. But I'm asking you to choose 5 of the following questions to ask during the interview. And so there's quite a few there. You just choose the 5 that suit your style, because you're not me and I'm not you, but and feel free to modify them. But the point of the question should be what you're trying to get to. So let me walk you through them now. Tell me about a time, remember these are attitude questions, right? Tell me about a time when it was necessary to admit to others that you made a mistake, and how did you handle that? Now, I'm kind of using business coach language here. You might not talk like that in your shop. You might say something else like, hey, tell me a time when you screwed things up. How did it affect the team? What'd you do about it? If that's your style, say it that way. I don't care. I want you to run your business your way. I'm not trying to change you to be me. You don't want this haircut anyways, man. It's causing me nothing but grief. But ask that question the way you feel it needs to be asked. Next question is, tell me about a situation you had where you had to go above and beyond what your job description was in order to get a job done. And again, change it the way you want, but I really want to hear what the guy has to say when he says, look, we just couldn't get some valances done in time. So I knew if I stayed, that they'd get done, and here's what we did. Or I had to go out on the job site. We don't normally do installs. The guys in the shop stay in the shop, but I said to my boss, I really want to go on site because I know how this fits together. Those are the kinds of things that give us an indication. They're little clues that say, hey, this guy's got the right attitude, and I think he's going to fit on our team really, really well. And don't overlook the people who come from other countries who did very similar work and had to go through things that we don't even understand to get to a job site to make things work the way they have to work. So listen carefully for what they have to say. Next question you might want to ask them to find out about their attitude and if they're going to fit on your team and add value to the company you're growing is, tell me about your ideal position. What's your dream job? And what's important to you in your next role? If the guy says to you, I'm a doctor from another country, I'm here doing this work because I used to do it when I was a student, and I one day want to be a doctor again, hire that guy. I don't care if I get 5 years of excellent work out of somebody like that who is so personally driven to be successful. Fantastic. But, listen for what these people are saying, because they're going to tell you clues about who they are in their personal life that can bleed over into your, I shouldn't have used the word bleed. Their fingers there. Anyways, what's their dream job? Next thing I want to ask them is, hey, tell me about your personal life. You involved in sports or music or anything outside of work? I would love to hire a guy who said, I'm working on my 3rd degree black belt, versus a guy who says, I got this new video game, man. I like to go home and chill out, smoke some weed, and I just play for hours. I don't want to hire that guy. I don't care if he's the greatest technician in the world. He's not internally driven right. I want the guy who's working on his 3rd degree black belt, or who's coaching his daughter's softball team, or he's a Cub Scout leader. I don't care. But if he's doing something that shows me that he's in when he's in, that's a good indication to me that that's probably a great person to add to my team. Okay. So another question to ask, can you describe a past situation at work where you learned the most? So that's called an open-ended question. I'm not really asking anything. I'm just sort of moving them down the path. I'm saying, tell me about a past situation at work. Tell me about a time at work where you did something and you learned the most. And he's going to say to you, you know what, in the shop I'm at right now, I started out doing this and I really wanted to learn about finishing, so I moved to finishing. And then I asked to be trained on the CNC, and I didn't have forklift training, but I went and got forklift training so that I could blah, blah, blah. And you're hearing from this guy a real internal drive to learn new things. That's probably the kind of person you want to have on your team, versus the guy who says, I've been a finisher for a long time, and I just like finishing, and I get the munchies a lot, so I eat a lot of chips because finishing fumes. Not knocking the finishers. It's just, it's a joke. It's right there. You have to do it. All right. And another question we have, tell me about a time you're faced with a big obstacle and how you overcame it. So something that the job couldn't be done, and how did you overcome it? We're at the end of the job, a router bit gets driven into the table, and now the router's screwed up. What are we doing? How do we fix that? And he's going to come back with some technical answer that also shows you his savvy on getting through some of these problems, like another attitude question. Here's another question for you. How would you describe the perfect work environment for you? If he says, I don't like it at work when guys are bitching and moaning, that's a guy you want to hire, because you don't want your place full of bitching and moaning people either, right? So a couple of great questions here. Again, go to Cabinetmakerprofitsystem.com. You can see the same document I'm going through right here. Probably going to cut it off. I've got 7 more questions that you could choose from, but you can see that these questions, even if you just use your same interview process, but you add a couple of these questions in here, you're going to start to tease out from these guys attitude indicators, little clues that tell you whether they're the right guy for your team. So again, go ahead and like or share this. If you're part of a community like AWE or AWMAC, feel free to share this with other members, share this with people on your team, share it with your business partner, like it and leave a comment, and that way we can all learn together. Thank you very much for checking in. My name is Dominic Rubino. This is Cabinetmakerprofitsystem.com. Keep checking back. We've got lots of material for you to grow your business, and I look forward to meeting you or talking to you on the phone one day soon. Have a great day.